Hey guys, Dim here. Today I'll be giving a brief demonstration on how to protect your e-bike connectors from the outside elements. If you're like me and you buy a cheap e-bike controller, it most likely comes with these JST connectors that are not waterproof. To me, this is a problem because an e-bike is only used outside and these connectors will be prone to intrusion from water and road debris. The quick and dirty solution is to just connect the two connectors and wrap it in electrical tape. For example, this is one connector, this is the other connector, and you would just hook them up and then basically tape all the way around it. And that will give you some sort of waterproofing. This will work, but not for very long. Electrical tape was not made to waterproof things. This tape eventually dries out and it moves around a bit, it becomes brittle and no longer provides a waterproof seal. And besides that, if you ever wanted to disconnect and reconnect this plug, you'll have to peel off the tape and use brand new tape. I've also seen some people just apply hot glue to the back of these connectors. This makes these ends waterproof, but water can still enter from the middle when they're connected. When I waterproof anything, I plan for the worst case scenario, like dropping my bike in a deep puddle. I do not want to worry about the connections possibly getting corroded. These are my favorite connectors, and you can buy this kit from Aliexpress for $17. It comes with 6-pin, 5-pin, all the way down to 1-pin, and all the various crimp butt terminals you would need, and all of these little rubber seals. If you have some more money to spend, you could go for a higher quality connector like Deutsch connectors. I'm only showing a picture because I can't afford them. Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's replace this connector on the speed controller with one of the waterproof connectors. We are also going to replace the other end that this hooks up to. And by the way, if you want your controller to be inside of a bag strapped to your frame, make sure that you put it in the bag first and then pass the wires before you crimp on these really wide terminals. Unfortunately, this will not fit. Like if I try to push it back through, it doesn't go in. So just make sure you get the order of things right and you don't end up having to undo all the work just to pass these wires through. These are 2-pin male and female connectors. This one is the female connector, this one is the male connector. Even though it looks like this should be the male because it goes into this is the one that'll have the actual pin sticking out on the inside. I messed that up when I was doing these first couple connectors, and really best practice would have been for me to use male connectors on the speed controller because that's where the power is coming from. So if you're going to do this, best practice says you should use male connectors on the speed controller. It's not the biggest of deals, but if I were to redo this, I would definitely have it the other way around. But anyway, since I have this already male, I'm just going to do the same thing on this connector. So this is our waterproof male connector. For this male connector, we need to use these male pins. And for both sides of the connector, we need to use these little rubber boots. So the first thing we're going to do is cut this connector off. When you're cutting this off, try to cut as close to the connector as you can so you have as much wire left as possible. This controller uses very thin gauge wire. This looks like either 22 or 20 to me. The first thing you're going to do, and I almost forgot this, you're going to put on these rubber boots. You can do this after stripping the wires, but it's just easier when you do it now. The next thing you're going to do is take off some wire. I believe this is 22 gauge wire, so I'm going to use my stripping tool here. With these, you do not need to take off much insulation at all. Like this is enough. Now once we have that boot on there, we're going to start placing these barrel connectors. So this connector goes onto the insulation and also the copper. So you want to make sure that the rubber boot is on the larger part of this barrel connector. Some people make the mistake of crimping this larger one directly onto the wire's insulation and then pushing this little boot directly into the pin afterwards. You could do that, but when it comes to smaller gauge wire like this one, there there's a lot of space in there and water can actually seep through. So the correct way to do it is to place this on that boot. Once you have it on the boot, I like to just bend it in with my fingernails here. You can always move things around just a little bit to make sure it's all lined up properly. Essentially, you want the bare copper to be on this second set of these barrel crimping section, and you want this first set of these barrels to be on the rubber boot. You do not want to crimp this part down here by accident, or you'll destroy this and you'll have to remove it and make a new one. This is my crimping tool, and this is like the most common one you're gonna find online. I'm using this die here, which has these gauges. So you'll see that each die has a smaller section and a bigger section. You basically want that bigger section to fold these bigger pieces and the smaller section to fold the smaller pieces. So you should line up this pin inside of the crimper like that. You can see how I had that lined up, and then I'm just going to push it down. And then once it's all the way fully in, I release and this comes out. Sometimes you have to like jiggle this out a little to get it out of the crimper. And as you can see, both of these are now crimped on there. I like to go down 2 of these die sizes to feel like confident that this is really secure. So let's just do that real quick. And finally, and I figured this out just after a little bit of experimentation with these wires and this particular set of waterproof connectors. This might be different for you and for your material. And basically, I use this smaller end of this 26 to 24 gauge crimping part, and I put that smaller end on there. I put the larger end of the barrel on the smaller end of the die, and then I crimp down right there. I'm not even gonna lie, I completely mangled this connector, so I'll get back to where I was with a new one. Sometimes this process does take a couple of tries and making a couple of mistakes to learn what the best way is for, the wire that you're dealing with. So just be patient, and if things don't go right the first time, try again. Now, once you have all those properly on there, you can start using this connector. I like to just match whatever the original order of the wires was. In this case, you could see that there was a black and then a red. So I'm going to do the same thing with this tab facing up. So black first. And you want to pay attention to this little tab on the pin. This tab will get inserted facing up. Once that's done, you'll have your pins sticking out from the connector. The female side is basically the same, except before you do it, you gotta take off this red piece that holds everything down. First, you cut the wires from the original connector. Next, you place these rubber boots over the wires. Next, use your wire strippers to take off a small amount of wire. Next up, you grab these female pins. And then you just crimp them down the same way. Might have to crimp them a little more because they're smaller wires. Tug test shows me it holds. So it seems like for these male sides that the female connector actually has to go with this little fin pointing up. So just go ahead and do that. Blue goes first, so I'm gonna push that in right there. Eventually you'll see your terminal come through just like that. Now it's not all the way in, and I don't want it to be yet because I want to push the other one in too, because I don't have a lot of wire to work with here. So I'm going to push that other one in too and just start working it in. Alright, so these are going in, and now the further that I slide them, they just keep going, and you have to basically push them until they are flush with the end of the connector. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers just to kind of work them in a little bit deeper. Oh, I heard that one click, so that's good. And this one, I felt that one click as well. And now, as you can see, we got our things all the way in, and tugging on them doesn't pull them out. Let us grab that red clip again and then just slide it in to the holes that are there. Make sure it goes all the way down, and boom, it's seated. That's good. You can see that rubber there is protecting from the outside. And now when we grab our controller here with that other connection we made, which is right here, we can just push it into it and it clips in and looks good to me. You tug a little on each wire, nothing comes out. You can pop that clip up and then pull this out again. I mean, that is a solid waterproof connection right there. In another video, I'll explain my steps to waterproof the 3-phase motor wires and the battery wires. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.